Hey guys, in today's video I am going to show you how I sandcasted a seashell into a solid sterling silver pendant, and I set a little diamond in it, so stay tuned and check it out.
You want to go ahead and start with your female piece of the casting flask, which is the piece without the poles sticking up out. This is the piece that will slide onto. Now you want to go ahead and hammer in your delft clay, and I was lucky enough, this clay actually came with my studio when I purchased it. I did not know what it was at first, and I quickly found out after joining the Facebook group Sandcasting, which if you haven't joined that group, it's super helpful. Now I am just hammering it down in. You have to do this several times just to make sure you get that layer of clay above where we are going to have to scrape off. Now you can see I am scraping it off, smoothing it. Now this part is actually the back part, so it doesn't really matter too much. We're gonna actually flip this casting flask over. Now you can see this is actually the spot that we will be placing our object in. So we want to go ahead and sprinkle some baby powder on here. I have also heard people use cornstarch. I don't think I would do that because I think it would burn really crazy. Some crazy stuff would happen. Now these are all my options for sand casting, and I eventually want to do some shark's teeth, so maybe I'll do that next. But for this video, I am going to do a seashell because I really want to. This one right here. Let's do it. So now go ahead and take whatever object you pick. As long as it fits in the flask, it should be fine. You don't want to try anything too small because it's just kind of hard to control where the metal goes and all that fun stuff. Anyway, go ahead and press it down about halfway into the delft clay after you have put the baby powder on. Don't forget. And there is my shell. I'm trying to make it easy for me to go ahead and pick it up out when I need to. Because what's going to happen now is we're going to put more baby powder onto the shell. We're going to go ahead and clean it up a little bit, make sure it's not all globby on there. And then we're going to put on the male side. And once you get the male side on, you're going to go ahead and pack in some more clay. It's a good thing there's a lot of clay here. And yeah, definitely should have worn gloves. But, you know, this was only my second attempt at doing this, so it's not that hard. So back to this process, you just pack it up, pack it in, let it begin. I hope I don't get censored for that on YouTube. But I think this is the side you really want to make sure packs down because you're really packing in that object that you're trying to cast. So this is the important part. This is how you're going to get the details. Make sure you're not crushing it, but you do want to pack that sand down good. Now here I am scraping off the back side again, kind of just being OCD a little bit about it. It doesn't have to be perfect on the back side.
Ooh, that looks good!
Here you can see I'm gently setting down the other half. After we have packed in our object in the center, I blow off a little bit of the baby powder, kind of smooth around a little bit. You'll see me doing a lot of little touch-ups here and there. And here I am poking air holes into the female part of the casting flask. And this is just so when you pour that metal into that void, all of that air that was in there has a place to escape to so that the metal can fill in the void. And this is a really important part. I'm also going to draw little air hole lines from the object towards the air holes. And you can see they have to go all the way through to the back side as well. Now, I got lucky with this one. The female side actually didn't have the shell in it. It was just the void that we are going to cast into. So it was really easy for me to drag these little lines from the empty space that we're going to fill with metal when we cast to the air holes. Made it so much easier, because if the shell were there, I would have to take the shell out, which I'm gonna have to take it out of the other side in a second, but it just made for a cleaner transition for me. And now you just want to kind of brush off any of those excess little sand dribbles and make sure they don't end up in your casting area, because you did all this hard work and then it would be for nothing. But that's jewelry. So I'm so OCD, I'm trying to get every single speck out of it. So next, what I'm going to be forming is called the sprue. And the sprue is basically the funnel that the metal will travel down to the object that we are casting. So there's different ways of doing this, but you basically want the sprue to lead up to the mouth of the casting flask. There's different casting options out there. Unfortunately, I had one of the little circle things, but I don't think it was designed right because there's no place for the sprue. Normally the sprue's like in the center of that one. There's no place for it, so I'm just gonna, I don't know, I'll figure that one out one day. But this casting flask is honestly bigger and better anyway, and it feels more stable, so I like it. And when I opened it, it had never been used before, so that was pretty exciting. But yeah, I am taking this little copper rod and smoothing out, rolling out a sprue area. You don't want your sprue to be too thin. The metal will cool and not go all the way down through it. And you don't want it to be too wide. I don't have a reason why, but I'm sure there's a million. I guess because it would take too much metal. The first time I casted using this method, which probably was 30 minutes before this, it didn't work out that well because I had the shell at the top portion and I also did not use enough sterling silver. So it was like half a cast. So I'm still working out those measurements. And here you can see I have the male side of the casting flask and I very, very, very gently lift out our object that we want to cast, which is our shell. And it left a little bit of a mess, but we can fix it. We can fix anything. So I am forming the sprue on the male side of the casting flask right now because both sides have to have it. It's a funnel. And then we're going to calculate the amount of metal we need to cast. So we're gently putting these two sides together. And after this guy is pretty much all done. Now I'm just kind of cleaning up all the sand that gets everywhere as you are making it. But yeah, she's ready to go after this. And my first attempt, as I told you guys, didn't go very well. I casted the same weight as the shell. And that ended up with like a dribble of silver inside the casting. And I'll put a picture here so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. Yeah, so that's not what you want, right? So the formula I figured out from doing a little bit of Googling, and I think there's websites that actually calculate it for you, but usually it's for like wax transitioning to metal. I found that you can do the weight of the item and then multiply it by the specific gravity of the metal you're casting in, which is 10.4 for sterling silver, and then you multiply it by 2 just in case. You really want to make sure there's metal going into that object, and if there's a sprue, that's even better. You definitely want a sprue at the end of it, and yeah, so I came up with about 20-ish grams of silver, and it worked out pretty good. Now for my favorite part, pouring in molten hot silver into the casting flask. And everything turned out going really well. You want to get that silver super, 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 super hot before you pour it in. And there is the final result. It looks so good. Ah! You can really see where that silver burnt that delft clay, but it's fine. Any of those little black bits I just scraped off into the trash because I don't want to reuse them in my next casting, but here we are with our casted result. And I am just chopping off that sprue, filing it off. Not filing, what is this called? Oh my gosh, I'm having a brain fart. What in the world? Not filing. Sawing. Oh my gosh, you guys. I need to be tested. Um, but here's the result. You can see that some of those little bits came from the air holes actually, where the metal kind of seeped into that area. Now I'm filing off some of those little bit bops, but I want to leave it pretty matte because I like the natural kind of texture that sandcasting leaves behind. This little bit bop right here actually is perfect for a gemstone or diamond to be set in. And I'm also just filing the ridges of the shell because I thought it was really pretty when they were shiny and the recessed part was matte still. So, look, I can remember the word recessed, but I can't remember sawing. Anyway, this is the result after I cleaned it up a little bit, kind of left it natural. If I had a tumbler, I might tumble it for a minute, but I don't. So here we are just checking which stone I want to put in there. I thought this diamond was perfect. It was just left over in my junk pile. So here I am getting a measurement of our diamond that we're going to use because everything kind of starts with the size of the diamond or gemstone you are setting. I am going to drill a hole into where I want to set my diamond. The drill bit needs to be about 50% the size of the stone or diamond that you are setting, and it gets really hot, as you can see. My fingers were like burning. Next, you want to go ahead and switch out your drill bit for a bud burr. This is 75% of the diameter of the stone that you are setting. So I go ahead and use the bud burr to actually deburr the back from the drill hole that I made because it kind of spurts a little bit of metal everywhere. You want to clean it up. And then I use it to go ahead back into the hole and go like, I don't know, however far you need to go for your stone. It really just depends on the stone that you're setting. But for anything under 2.5 millimeters, you want the stone to be flush with whatever you are setting it into. And here I am switching out my GRS Benchmate for my, what do you call this doodad? Whatever that is, setting block. I don't know. I think it's a setting block. And here I am taking, I believe, my setting burr, which is the size of the stone I'm setting, which is 2 millimeter, and I am drilling out that hole. Now I'm going to see if that stone is setting in there correctly, and it looks like it needs to go in a little bit more because, again, we want it flush with the metal. We don't want it going above if it's under 2.5 millimeters in size. Here I'm giving you a little close-up zoomed in view of it. It's looking pretty good. Might need to go down just a smidge more. Here I am using Thermalock in my ball vise. That's what it's called, a ball vise. And it's amazing. I love Thermalock. Okay, let's just talk about Thermalock for a second. If you don't use it, try it out. It is amazing. It holds that piece like nobody's business. It's not going anywhere when I'm drilling in there. Fantastic. Love it. Now I am going to go ahead and raise some beads using my graver. I think this is an onglet graver. If I'm wrong, whatever. There's like so many different kinds of gravers out there, but that's what I'm using here. Make sure it's sharp. You can raise those beads on here and set that diamond in. Another option I could have done was flush setting, but I think flush setting would have been kind of hard with the textured surface. Could have done it, but a little bit easier for me to do a bead setting here. So I am just raising that metal around it. I think I did about 3 or 4 different beads around the stone just to make sure it was set in there really secure. And now I am going to take my beading tool and just polish those beads up a little bit, make them shiny so they don't look like metal just pushed over the diamond. And there she is. The diamond is safely set inside of this seashell pendant. I love it. I'm obsessed. But now we need a jump ring. So I went ahead and made a little jump ring out of some silver wire I had, and we are going to go ahead and solder that jump ring closed, because if you are a jeweler, you know that if there is a way for a jump ring to open, it will open and you will lose your object. So I always like to close my jump rings. If they're really small, I use the arc welder to close them, but this one's a little bit bigger, so I figured solder would probably be the better option. So here you can see me fire coating the item. I'll make a separate video about soldering so you guys can kind of see those steps, but I would advise, if you don't know how to do this part, watch some educational videos first and practice a whole bunch before you try doing this, because I can't tell you how many things I have melted from soldering. So I'll give you a really close-up view here of my soldering procedure. But first, we fire coat. Next, we are going to put a little bit of flux on the part that we want to solder. For silver, I like to use a little bit of a bigger flame, because silver, you have to get really hot in order to reach the melting point of it. I probably wouldn't use this big of a flame if I were soldering a gold jump ring, but here you can see I am taking my sterling silver, what do you call that stuff? Solder. Golly, guys, what is going on today? And of course it didn't go where I wanted it to, so I had to reheat it and try to maneuver that solder over to the actual opening of the jump ring, and you can really see me struggling here, but it's okay. It does eventually go. Look at it, it's balled up on one edge of it. But listen, not everything in jewelry making is perfect. Behind the scenes it's really, really messy, and eventually you figure it out. You never give up. Us jewelers never give up, and I know that's true. And there it goes. See, I didn't give up. Now I am going to go ahead and clean up that jump ring after I put it in our pickle. Boop. And there we have it. Oh my gosh, I love this seashell pendant. I am going to keep this one. Sorry guys, but if you want me to make you one, just hit me up, jewelsbymarina.com. I will be happy to make one for you from your own seashell or from one of the items that I have. I had to find a really pretty chain for this. Honestly, this chain's good, but I might need a heavier weight chain, because this pendant actually came out to be like 7 grams. And here is the finished result, you guys. I absolutely love it. I think it's so beautiful, especially with the little diamond accent. Let me know what you think.
And there you have it. Now we have a seashell necklace. How cool is sandcasting? I am obsessed. Up next, I want to sandcast a shark's tooth. I think that would be super cool to do. So we'll see. Check the website for that in a couple of days / weeks. Yeah, I love how it came out. I think it's really beautiful. I didn't end up like high polishing it really. I like the natural matte look that the sandcasting provides, and I just polished the ridges on here to give it a little bit of shine. But I'm obsessed. I hope you guys love it. If you can, I hope you guys get to try sandcasting yourself and see how much fun it is. Use safety precautions always. Whenever I'm melting down metal, mask on, make sure you're not breathing in those fumes, and when you're grinding away the metal, you don't want to breathe in metal. So just be smart about it. If you have any advice to leave for me and other jewelers out here that are just learning, go ahead and leave it in the comments. I'll be sure to check it and learn something, and I always appreciate it. So as always, thank you for watching, and please subscribe for more videos and stay in touch. I will see you guys later. Bye.